The Supreme Court of the United States is a fascinating and powerful institution, standing as the highest court in the federal judiciary. It plays a crucial role in the system of checks and balances, acting as the ultimate arbiter of the Constitution's meaning and the boundaries of governmental power. The Supreme Court is composed of 9 justices, 1 Chief Justice, and 8 Associate Justices. This relatively small group wields immense influence over the interpretation and application of the nation's laws. The justices are nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate, serving lifetime appointments to help insulate them from political pressures. The Supreme Court's primary function is to hear and rule on cases that involve significant federal questions, including disputes between states, constitutional issues, and matters of immense public importance. The court's rulings set binding precedents that impact the entire nation. One of the Supreme Court's most profound powers is the ability to exercise judicial review, the authority to determine the constitutionality of laws and government actions. While not explicitly stated in the Constitution, judicial review was established in the landmark case of Marbury versus Madison in 1803. In this case, the Supreme Court ruled that it had the power to strike down laws or executive actions that conflicted with the Constitution. Chief Justice John Marshall emphasized that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and the court must uphold its principles even if doing so invalidates actions of the other branches. Judicial review is a crucial component of the system of checks and balances. It allows the Supreme Court to serve as a check on the legislative and executive branches, ensuring that their actions remain within constitutional boundaries. This power has been exercised in numerous landmark cases throughout American history, shaping the nation's understanding of civil rights, federalism, and the scope of governmental authority. As the final arbiter of the Constitution, the Supreme Court plays a vital role in interpreting and applying the principles and provisions of this foundational document. The court's rulings on constitutional matters are considered the supreme law of the land, binding on all lower courts and government entities. However, the court's authority is not absolute. The Constitution itself can be amended through a formal process, providing a means for the people and the states to override or modify the court's interpretations. Additionally, the principle of judicial restraint suggests that the court should exercise caution and respect the separation of powers, deferring to the other branches in certain matters of policy and politics. Throughout American history, the scope of the Supreme Court's authority has been a subject of intense debate and discussion. Some argue that the court should adopt a strict constructionist approach, interpreting the Constitution narrowly based on its original meaning and intent. Others advocate for a more expansive interpretation, allowing the Constitution to adapt to changing societal norms and circumstances. To illustrate the Supreme Court's profound impact, let us examine a few landmark cases that have shaped the nation's understanding of constitutional rights and governmental authority. Brown versus Board of Education, 1954. In this groundbreaking decision, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that segregation in public schools violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, overturning the precedent set by Plessy versus Ferguson, 1896, and its separate but equal doctrine. This ruling was a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement and set the stage for further desegregation efforts. Roe versus Wade, 1973. The court's ruling in this controversial case established a woman's constitutional right to have an abortion under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, though it allowed for certain restrictions by the states. This decision sparked intense debates over reproductive rights and the boundaries of personal privacy. Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission, 2010. In this highly contentious case, the Supreme Court ruled that the Free Speech Clause of the First Amendment prohibits the government from restricting independent expenditures for political campaigns by corporations, labor unions, and other associations. This decision significantly reshaped the landscape of campaign finance laws. These cases illustrate the profound impact the Supreme Court can have on the lives of Americans and the functioning of the nation's democratic system. While its decisions are often controversial and divisive, the court's role as the ultimate interpreter of the Constitution ensures that the principles enshrined in this foundational document remain the bedrock of American governance. The United States Supreme Court stands as a vital pillar of the nation's system of government, charged with the solemn duty of upholding and interpreting the Constitution. Through its power of judicial review and its rulings on constitutional matters, the court has shaped the course of American history, safeguarding individual rights, defining the boundaries of governmental authority, and ensuring that the rule of law prevails. As the nation continues to grapple with complex and contentious issues, the Supreme Court will undoubtedly play a pivotal role in charting the path forward, navigating the delicate balance between preserving constitutional principles and adapting to the evolving needs of a dynamic society.